If the original Yooka-Laylee was a mostly solid homage to 3D action platformers such as Banjo-Kazooie, then Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is a finely crafted love letter to side-scrolling 2D platformers like Donkey Kong Country. The colorful worlds, challenging platforming segments, and creative level designs are engaging from start to finish as you jump, roll, and spin your way towards defeating the evil capital B and rescuing the pun-riddled world of Be Kind. Experimenting with full 3D was fun, but the Impossible Lair shifts the perspective back to a more focused 2.5D style, just like Nintendo's own Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. The result is a spectacular and well-paced 12-hour adventure starring Yooka the Chameleon and Laylee the Bat. Each level requires quick reflexes using its snappy and responsive controls, along with a willingness to face a hefty dose of old-fashioned retro challenge. It's certainly a tough but fair game. The story, meanwhile, is entirely forgettable outside of its function as an excuse to keep feeding you puns. There's an inspired and fresh approach to how you reach and defeat the final boss. The campaign actually begins with a doomed-to-fail attempt at the Impossible Lair, and even though you are technically able to try again at any time, you won't stand much of a chance at first. It's like some sort of twisted, sadistic version of your worst nightmare of a platforming level, absolutely littered with moving platforms and death traps. And not only is it far longer than any other level, it doesn't have a single checkpoint. So, to make it survivable, you have to seek out the 48 collectible bees scattered around the other levels, each of which grants you one extra hit you can endure in the lair. That lets you effectively set your own level of difficulty and really dares you to attempt that early perfect run. One of Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair's other big innovations is how it has expanded on the overworld until it's basically its own separate game. This sprawling top-down 3D adventure puzzle game connects all the platforming levels together, and you can easily spend more time uncovering secrets and new passageways here than you do in the levels themselves. That said, sometimes that's due to how dense and creative the overworld is, but other times it's because of the obtusely designed puzzles or unclear directions about where to go next. Unlike with the previous Yooka-Laylee, which often suffered a bit from clunky and unforgiving retro design ideas, Playtonic has modernized some key details this time around. For example, you don't have to worry at all about collecting extra lives. You lose the in-game currency, quills, upon death instead. There's no game over screen, but you can't buy as many power-ups. Plus, if you get stuck on a tough spot, you can skip ahead to the next checkpoint, but resorting to that means you'll miss out on any collectibles hidden in that section. Playtonic has really captured the heart and soul of the original Donkey Kong Country games, in that stages reward you for not only precision-based platforming, but also for having an eye for hidden details. In addition to rescuing another bee for your battalion, the other main goal is to collect the 5 well-hidden Twit coins in every level to unlock new stages. This does mean you'll probably eventually have to go back and replay levels a few times to find enough of them, which can get repetitive. Thankfully, that's alleviated by remix variations that completely change the layout or conditions. For example, one level gets frozen over. And because the levels are all extremely dense and layered with hidden paths, it's fun to revisit them with an exploration-minded playstyle. Decades of platformers have trained everybody to move from left to right as quickly and efficiently as possible, but the better solution in the Impossible Lair is often to slow down, backtrack, and explore. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is an excellent 2D platformer, full of surprises and delights for fans nostalgic for the glory days of the genre. With some clever approaches to the final boss fight, the overworld map, and refreshing levels for repeat playthroughs, this one sits in the top tier of platformers, just below the likes of modern classics like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. For more platforming goodness, check out our reviews of the first Yooka-Laylee and of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. And for everything else, stay tuned to IGN.